So what is an accelerator? That is the question. Mm-hmm. So what is the model? I would say that 90% of the people in the world don't know and are giving it a go in one way or another, which is kind of entrepreneurial in a way. Here are the things that I believe that an accelerator is. It is a context, and yes, that's a big word, in which entrepreneurship optimally emerges. And to create that context requires a whole lot of ingredients. So one of the ingredients in a context, now when we look at contexts, if you want to actually look at how they're set up by the rules that you have, like the boundary conditions. If you don't have any boundary conditions, you've got no context, then people don't know how to behave. Right? And you see this all over the world. You know, people poorly define what it is that's supposed to happen. There are no rules, and then people just go, whatever, and nothing happens. So in the accelerators that, you know, in the model of accelerators that works, in my opinion, there are some very specific contextual cues. Cue 1, there is a selection process, right? And it's a rigorous selection process. Not everyone gets in. 2, accelerator is bounded by time. And in my view, 90 days is that time period, because I've tried different dates and different lengths, and they didn't work as well as 90 days. And 3, it's open plan, co-working, so that you get the most interaction between the teams. So those are 3 key elements of the model. There are many other little subtleties, but without those 3 key elements, I think you're kind of banjaxed. And I see a lot of incubators that are trying to make themselves out as accelerators. They have these very long periods of time, like 12 months, 18 months in the program. In my view, that's where startups go to die and then be reincarnated as undead. Right? So if the output of the accelerator is startups that go around like this, cash, give me cash, and they do that forever without ever making a sale, you kind of know that what they went through was not the accelerator model.
How do I follow that? Yeah, that's pretty well described, I would have said. You look at probably, I suppose, one of the early, most famous accelerators would have been Y Combinator, and I think what's interesting about that is what Bill said about the quality that's required to get in, and that's actually as important for the people who are trying to get into an accelerator, because if you don't get in, you're possibly not ready, or you've gone to the wrong accelerator. So
or you're crap.
Or you're crap, which can happen, and you may need to start again. But that fussiness is actually a really good thing, and I think even Techstars only take 1% of who they see in. I don't know what the figures are for you, I'm sure we'll discuss it later. One of my favorite sort of definitions of accelerator would be it's a place where you do 3 months of business building, 2 years of business building in the space of 3 months. So again, I would kind of concur with Bill, is that if, the hint is in the name, accelerator. If you're not able to accelerate your business in those 3 months within an accelerator, again, you're in the wrong accelerator. So, sorry, rather than go on and on, they would be the key ones for me.
Yeah, so I'm not sure there is a generic definition, and I think everyone needs to look at, if they think they need to go on an accelerator, and talk a little bit about that, they need to make sure they pick an accelerator that fits their needs and where they are. So I think Anna's right, an accelerator needs to take you from A to B. For me, it's not about education or entrepreneurship, it's about if you've got an idea that you think is potentially viable, and you think an accelerator can get you there faster than you would on your own. For me, that's the basis of whether you should go to an accelerator or not. For me, there is a time element, For me, it's more about the investment you need. I think it is important. So when we look at, so in NDRC we have a number of accelerators. So when we look at companies, we want to make sure that the investment we give them and the support we can give them will get them to the next point on their journey, whether that's the next, to make them to a point where they're either investable or revenue generating. So if we think our investment won't get them to that point, or we think that the expertise that we have in-house is not going to help get them there, then we say no. And likewise, the other side of that is I think any founder needs to think about that as well. For example, don't go to an accelerator if you're looking to get educated. You must have a business proposition that you believe in. Otherwise, the activities of the accelerators, you won't benefit from them. If you're going through the exercise, an academic exercise is a proxy for an MBA. You learn stuff for sure, but the chance of you coming out with a viable business are far less.